Alright, hello everyone. Our assignment today is 406, 1 to 6, 11, 16, 31, and 32. It may look like a bunch of random problems, but they're all about what we do when we have a variable up here. For example, this equation could be y is equal to 5 times 2 with a variable up there. So what do we do here in exponential equations? So we'll deal with this for another 2 weeks, and then we'll move on to something else. All right, so we have this function here, f of x is equal to this function. Again, look, the variable is up here. All right, well, they tell you what x is. They tell you x is 1.5. So we do f of 1.5, and that equals 0.3, and we raise it to the 1.5 power. And this means we plug in 1.5, and we output... let's see, just with the calculator, 0.3 raised to the power of 1.5, and there we go. It's about 0.1643. The book says round to 3 decimals, so we will round to right there. Alright, that's all we got to do. And basically what this is nothing more than inputs producing outputs. And sometimes we call it y, sometimes we call it f of x, but you input 1.5 here, and it outputs 0.164. All right, next problem is simply the same things. We input and we output. So we input and output, and our job is to graph this. Now what we need to know is when we graph this equation right here, it is a curve that goes up, or maybe it's going down, or maybe it's flipped upside down, or maybe it's flipped this way, but it is one of these 4 curves. So we have to, out of this, get this curve. All right, and that's going to depend on the points. Well, let me just show you what it's, well, let's go ahead and look at some points here. I always start with 0 in the middle, and 1 and 2, and -1 and -2, and then go from there. So let's go ahead and see where we're at here. All right, I'm going to put in 4 raised to the negative, make sure you match it up, negative, negative, and put in 0 plus 4, and make sure everything looks nice and neat and everything matches exactly like here. All I did is switch that out, put parentheses, press enter, and we have a 5. All right, press up, and let's change this to a 1, and that's 4.25, and let's change it to a 2, and that's 4.0625. And now let's go on the negative side, and let's see if this works. A -1. Let's see if my calculator likes that. I don't know if it does, but it's a negative, then a -1. So yeah, it does like that. And I'll go up here, and it's a -2. I mean, you could just put, positive right there, right? But I'll do that. 20. And you see the pattern here? There's kind of a pattern. Let's just keep going a little bit further here. -3. Whoops, not -33. -3. Whoops, negative. Too many negatives. 3. There we go. 68. And a 4. I did it again. A -4. And look at the pattern. This side is going up a lot, and this side over here is going down. So let's go ahead and go a little bit further down here. Let's put -3, which is 4.01, and let's change it to 4. And look what's happening. Hopefully you see this picture right here. I'm gonna go ahead and graph it. Have it on my graphing calculator, and I have it typed in there, and here's the graph for -x here. And if I hit graph, this is what we're going to make. And take a look at what's going on. As I go to the right here, to 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be about 4. And as I go to the left, it gets higher. So it goes, starting here at 0, to the left it goes up, and to the right it goes down. So let's go ahead and make that graph. Let's see here, going out to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, And going this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's number them. And going down, and let's just focus on this part of the graph right here. I'm not going to do all of it, I'm just going to do this. So I need to get up to 20, so let's call this 20 up here, and this is 10. At -2 I'm up to 20, and -1 I'm at 8, and 0 I'm at 5, and 1 I'm at 4, then 2 I'm at 4, then this graph comes down and it swoops down and it gets closer and closer to 4. And actually there's this asymptote right here, this line right here, this invisible line right here, which is 4, and it just keeps getting closer and closer and closer to 4. It never touches 4, but it gets closer to 4. To the left it goes up to infinity, to the right it goes to 4. Alright, but that's the shape you want to get. So whatever points you need, pick whatever points you need so you get that shape. And if you don't have that shape, either your points are wrong or you just need to do more points. And if you want to check it, if you have a graphing calculator, start using it. Type it in, hit y equals, hit zoom standard, and you can see the graph. If you don't have a, there it is. If you don't have a graphing calculator yet, go to desmos.com and you can graph it. Alright, down here at the bottom, again, we're going to make a chart. We've done these before, and we're going to fill it in, and we're going to use two different formulas. For the first section over here, all of these ones here, all of these values here, you're going to use this chart here. So I'll just go ahead and do the 4 for you. Y is equal to 31. It says it starts at 5,000, and it's going up by a rate of 3%. So I'm going to add on 3%. I'm going to divide it by 4. And the number of years is 10 years, but I'm going to times that by 4. Alright, so ready? 5,000, 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4, parentheses, raised to the 10 times 4. Make sure you put parentheses around this because this is one group right here. Press enter, and there you go. What is that for? 6741. We're dealing with money, so I'm going to do it to the nearest cent. 67417. Alright, do that. Just switch out this number right here, this 4, depending on which one you have right there. Alright, continuous is about infinity, which is about the letter E, so we have to use this formula. Area, or A equals the same p-value, and E, and the rate is 0.03 for 10 years. And it should be a little bit more than that if we did everything right. Whoops, 5,000 times E to the 0.03 times 10. And there you have it. 6749.29. And this will slowly keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until that one right there. Alright, hope this helps with your homework. Again, there are the problems. You can use your calculator on all of it. Just remember, everything is about this equation, and when you're making a graph, it will be one of these 4 shapes. And ours was this shape right here, that downward arch.